Hello, film fans. Welcome to the Film vs. Film podcast. My name is Martin Harries, your host, and I'm joined by the film encyclopedia man, Boaz Dix. We are a couple of filmmakers on occasion, but mainly can't stop yapping about movies. On this podcast, every episode we pick a topic from a film that's coming out at the cinema or on VOD. Myself and Boaz pick our favourite film from that topic, or team up against a guest and battle it out to decide which film will become the greatest film of all time. If you enjoy this podcast, please leave us a 5-star review and subscribe. Please enjoy part 2. Our pick then for Idris Elba films is The Harder They Fall, the Netflix film from last year. So very recent. It's a Western, and Idris Elba is the villain of the film. Boaz really didn't have a choice in the matter. Because I was like, we have to pick this film.
We're doing this. It's an order.
We have to pick this film because it's a Western and it's awesome. Directed by a first-time filmmaker, James Samuels, from London, actually. He's more of a musician.
You can tell from the film, because the film really is kind of like a visual soundtrack in a way. You have like all these moments where it's just the characters like posing or riding through the desert or through the town. It's just like, you know, a short little musical interlude. And it's produced by Jay-Z as well, so you can really feel that music influence.
It's also like very colourful. As a Western, it's like, it's probably one of the most colourful Westerns I've ever seen.
Except for that one time.
Yeah, we're in the bank, where it's all white. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because they were going on about like, oh, it's a white town. You know,
and the whole fucking town's white.
Whole town is literally just painted white.
Except for one green door on a store that sells pickles.
So the pointless spin-off, what did you make of this one then? Initial reactions?
I have to tell you, we loved it. It did have some pacing issues. Because a lot of the time, I feel like, you know, first-time director, you just want to throw whatever you want at the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was definitely some bits where, like, you know, some fat could have been trimmed, I suppose, like all the posing around and the music interludes. But otherwise, like pretty great up until like the last 5 minutes where they just I'm sure we'll get into this in the script discussion, but they just pulled some dad twist, like just out of thin air, like
well, Empire Strikes Back level.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically,
Turns out we're brothers too. I'm just like, where did this come from?
Yeah, that did remind me either of like Star Wars or like any kind of anime thing where you're like towards the end, like, we're somehow related. You're like, wow.
Yeah,
we're related. Oh, that means so much to me now for some reason.
So, Boaz, what do you make of this one then?
Yeah, I quite liked it actually. Like, I think like visually, it looks really nice, and as I said, it's very colourful and just really well done. And you know, there's some really beautiful moments. Yeah, I kind of agree that you know there are some things maybe I would change plot wise, but yeah, I thought it was a pretty good Western. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love my Westerns. I love, you know, a lot of the Sergio Leone films, so I really fucking love this film.
I also think it had some really good gunfights, like, especially towards the end, where you're like, this is fucking crazy. Like, it just kind of reminded me of the, you know, that big gunfight scene that I always gush about in Django.
Oh, right. In the big house.
And then just dial that up a couple of fucking notches, and that was a hell of a scene.
They definitely use like massive blood squibs, you know, the blood effects that come out of their bodies.
Yeah.
There was some big ones there.
I love like just the abuse of physics as well. Like bullets like can knock someone clean off their feet.
That's right. Well, he shoots the guy up into the air and then shoots him again while he's in the air as well. Like it's fucking.
That's great.
That was awesome.
Smash Brothers movie or something, dude.
That's the first gunfight scene. And I thought that was good. Like, he literally shoots him into the air with his bullets and then shoots him down. It almost reminded me like a Mortal Kombat combo. But with Western guns. You're like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I really liked it. I mean, I think it was paced really well for me. I didn't have an issue with that. Yeah, I just loved a lot of the stylistic elements of it. I just really enjoyed it. Yes, the twist is a bit, at the end is a bit like attached on, I guess. It doesn't really connect terribly well with the rest of the film, only really the scene at the start. But for me, it is a little bit forgivable in my eyes. But yeah, I really like this film. So, Boaz, what happens in The Harder They Fall?
So the film is about a guy called Nat Love, played by Jonathan Majors. Yeah. So Nat Love, and he is a Western outlaw who robs from other outlaws. He has a particular vendetta against Idris Elba's character, who's called Rufus Buck, who is a notorious outlaw who murdered his father and mother and gave him a crucifix scar, on his scalp. So he's, basically had a gang for many, many years and is hunting down every member of Rufus Buck's gang. After he finishes off what he considers the last member, he's going to retire. But Rufus Buck, who's in prison, who he thought he would never see him again because he's locked up in prison, gets released from prison by his gang and also pardoned by the federal government. And so he goes on one last hurrah to finish what he started.
Cool. So directing then, the opening scene was really brutal, I thought, where Idris Elba, who plays Rufus Buck, enters this family home just before they have dinner, and it kind of starts with this classic thing of his hat blocking his eyes as he, tilts his head up, and he sits at the table. There's a shot of everything really nicely symmetrical. The father at the top of the table, his wife on the left, Jonathan Majors' character as a kid on the right, or is it? Yeah. The whole time Rufus Buck says nothing and you never see his face, and I love that. It just makes you wait to see Idris Elba on screen properly, and it's such a menacing start to the film with his golden guns there as well. And when he shoots the wife, it's like a cannon going off. It's proper loud, and the operatic music adds a lot to the drama too. The acting is amazing from the father, who does this desperate reassurance thing to his wife, but he knows someone's going to die, so I just thought it was a really brutal opening to this film.
We were talking, it's very niche, but we were admiring how delicious their chicken dinner looked. I mean, goddamn, for a 1800s meal, it just looked so...
It looks finger-licking good, yeah.
So good. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I mean, as far as, just opening setups go, it was just sort of all right, so that's what the deal is. It's like a revenge story.
Yeah. You know exactly what you're getting, really, don't you, from the first scene?
Yeah. But I do like the build-up of suspense in it. I do like, the overhead shot of, him sat down, boom, and, with the guns placed on the table, then raising them up, and then the camera following the guns, and he's pointing it at, the son and then the mother, and then just the mother, and just like how it's very deliberate and, builds up to that. Yeah, I thought it was really good.
I thought, it was all right. Immediately it made me think, when I saw it, I was like, oh, I get it. No worries. Got it. His dad was part of his gang. Got it. Yeah, come back to clear loose ends.
We figured, this is a theory of ours, he's not actually brothers with Jonathan Majors. This is just a story he tells to get out of being shot.
What if he fucked up and he found the wrong house?
It's the same thing.
He thought that was his dad's house. What if that guy moved away from that house years ago? It's a different family, and he just... That would have been cool. Cool twist is it's mistaken. Shit, man, sorry. I thought I killed my abusive dad, but...
Yeah, you're my brother. Nat Glove. No, it's Nat Love. Oh my god. Oh, I made a big mistake.
Yeah. Oh shit, your dad actually was a nice man. Oh fuck.
The G is silent.
Sorry, man. Yeah.
The next scene is awesome too. The direction is straight out of a Sergio Leone film. His influence looms large here.
Yeah.
With all the extreme close-ups before the draw. Again, Samuel has kind of put his own spin on it with the very symmetrical shots over one of the actors' heads. But I love how the title was revealed after each gunshot, as we were kind of talking about a little bit. To the priest flying through the air, and then a big red word of the title flashes up in freeze frame. I thought that was really awesome, actually.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I loved every time someone was about to shoot someone, you could really feel like the tension wrapping up with, like, as you said, the spaghetti western close-ups and all that. I thought like they were very like sort of well done and like really like fit the style that they were going for. Especially when later on in the film there were like moments where you feel like shit's about to go down, but then it turns out it doesn't actually. Like when the guy was like practicing his lines while he is eating a steak. I thought that was pretty great.
There was another one where the duelist in their ranks wants to beat that Cherokee Bill or whatever, and he gives this huge speech to him about, you know, how he's going to show him he's the fastest gun, and he just fucking turns his back on him. It's like, you know, it's almost like, I ain't got time for that shit, and you just feel Jim kind of get deflated, like, what the fuck, you know? I quite like that. There was a lot of build up for that. And then I like their second proper duel was paced. Yeah, that it essentially, you know, all this build up, and it ends even before the count of one. Yeah, he just shoots him, and you're like, what the hell? And then I love that that transition of, you know, you've got Bill in the middle, you know, wide shot, and then just everybody's reaction as like comic panels, like duh, 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 duh. Like, oh god, I thought that was a really good way of displaying that.
I think it works very well as like a contemporary western. Like you have all these moments that are like, you know, they build upon like the mythos of like other western heroes in the past, but then you also have like moments that sort of like debunk those, like you know, the guy telling the quick draw shooter, no, you can't just be dueling people around the place, you're going to get us killed, you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, I thought that was like a pretty good aspect of the movie.
I feel like going back to the second scene, as soon as I saw like the adult version of the main character, he's a great actor. I wish they hired someone who had less like creases in his forehead, because you could barely see the crucifix on his forehead, because it would just blend right in, like with the folds in his forehead. It was like just one line basically.
Do you think all the other characters are like, man, he really fucked up your forehead. He must have gone to town on that forehead. It's like, no, it's just this little...
It's just my wrinkles.
Yeah, he was like, no, I did it too wide. Do it again. No, too...
Yeah, fifth attempt. All right, stay still.
That's why he hates him so much.
Yeah.
I love how the film like gives Idris Elba's character so much presence in the film. Like throughout the film, it's not just in the opening scene. Like when Mary enters the bar with Trudy, with the blue painted girl dancing all around the bar until we get to Idris, you know, she moves out the way slowly to reveal him. And then when Nat Love is strung up, there's a long like POV shot just before we see Idris's face. You know, James Samuels does so much work to create like incredible character and presence for Idris Elba's character without even seeing him half the time. So I thought, you know, I was quite impressed with that aspect of the film, just giving this bad guy real like menace and presence without even seeing the guy.
Yeah. I think the one, I guess, good thing about the twist ending is you can sort of go back and see moments where sort of Idris isn't just sort of like just a blank slate villain. He actually, like, you can tell he actually has some hang-ups about what he's done to get his life to this point. It just seems like very sort of like world weary. I don't know if you feel that way as well.
I don't know if it was like intentional, but I definitely feel like they were setting up like, this guy is the fucking holy shit. Like when they're releasing him from like his little prison box and they're like all standing back like, oh god, what have we done? And he's just like one guy inside of a prison box, and it's like, oh man, he's gonna go ape shit, kill a billion
like
people,
Wolverine,
and then he's just like kind of sitting down for the rest of the movie. Just sitting down like telling other people to walk for him. It's like, all right, cool. Even in the final fight scene, he doesn't do anything. He kills one guy.
No. What are our favorite moments in the final fight scene?
Oh man, there's I think there's a few for me. One, I liked one shot mainly because I like its use in films. I like anything like inventive or creative.
Yeah.
But they're like stare down, where you don't really see it from Idris Elba's point of view, because he's like standing in front of the window looking outwards, like down at Nat Love or whatever. And the camera kind of goes, you know, by Idris's shoulder, so you got like this profile of him
from his room,
from his room, from the back of his room, he's looking down, and then like past his shoulder through the glass and like just keeps going until you meet the eyes of like Nat Love.
Well, it goes all the way down the street, takes its time.
Yeah, like literally zooms all the way through. Yeah, I quite like that. I thought that was a really good shot because it was like, wow, that's cool. It's like just feels very dynamic.
The one kill Idris does get, like, that's very cool, is, when the guy's like, I'm sorry, look, to be fair, and then he just shoots the dynamite bag, and the guy just, like, Mortal Kombat explodes into a thing of just, like, red powder.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, he's just a bag of blood. Yeah.
I like the double slide across of the camera to reveal Bill standing behind Nat, and then Jim Ludworth or something is standing behind Bill as well. And then there's some nice, like, beautiful slow motion in low light when they take out the Crimson Hoods at one point. That was really, really cool, actually. Very, very stylized, that last fight.
I like that bit where he gets shot, and I think it might be from the same guy that he had let loose, because even though he's got a mask, he says breathe. You remember? And he had shot his bombs off. And I like that, how he's kind of over him, and you've got this like POV shot from Nat's point of view, just seeing this guy point his gun at him and the sun like shine over his hood. And you're like, oh, he's done for. And then from that same shot, his head just he just goes, he's just bang, he's just blown across the screen.
Oh, in the scope. Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool.
Right after that, actually, is a great scene where, like, he takes down, like, basically the whole Red Hood gang, I guess, basically, in that last final fight. And just, like, him one-armed, basically, just, like, going in, like, doing, like, desperate gunfight, basically. That's very cool. Always love to see that.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah, I just love the use of slow-mo in this, because it's not too slow, if you know what I mean. Not like Zack Snyder slow and, like, speed ramping. Just kind of floating kind of thing, if you know what I mean, in this film. Just not slow, but not too slow. I just think that's always cooler.
Yeah, and I mean, use sparingly as well. You just use like the coolest points. I quite liked the when they freed him from the train.
Yeah, that's my favorite scene.
And he was like, who here can drive a train? And the one kid puts his hand out, it's like, kill the rest. And then it's like, just walks, just fucking badass walk, slow-mo, as they're just fucking laying shells in people's face. Yeah. And in comes the music. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
They play that scat song that I love from the soundtrack.
I love the few moments before that, where we see Regina King and Lakeitha Stanfield for the first time breaking out Idris Elba's character. Like, the first piece of action from Stanfield is awesome, where he knifes a guy's legs really quickly. That was really cool. And like the cameras between the guy's legs. One of my favorite shots is when Stanfield is walking through to the next car, and like a young soldier has a gun on him. And when Stanfield gets his gun out, all his men behind him hold out their guns at all different angles. So it's like Stanfield has got loads of arms sticking out of his body.
Yeah. I like as well that was like a split screen sort of deal.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that looked pretty stylized.
Yeah, I mean, Boaz knows this. I'm not a fan of split screen, but it is passable here because they're talking between the door, and I do like the fact that they use a wipe to
like transition between
when they do open the door, So I still don't like it, but it's fine.
Have you seen Ang Lee's Hulk? It's like a heinous use of split screen.
Terrible. Yeah.
I don't agree with you about like being adverse to split screen. I think it has its place, but I think Ang Lee's Hulk it kind of abused split screen a bit too much.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's just a bit much. A movie is not a comic book, and just don't do every fucking scene like that. That's that's ridiculous. But I think do it once or whatever. That's fine.
As a lot of you guys have said, like when Idris Elba is walking out of the train, like all in slow-mo, and like all his men is taking out all the soldiers, that was really cool. But they do cut away to like Stanfield and Regina King. I kind of wish it just stayed on Idris Elba a little bit and just have that confidence to just, this is the bad guy, I didn't feel like you needed that, but just a minor gripe there.
It did kind of do that a lot in the movie. I felt it kind of did that a lot in the movie, where it's like, finally I get to the cool character, gonna do something cool, and then immediately like swaps to like the other character, like ramping up to do their cool thing, and it's like, okay, we'll cool down for now. He's Idris Elba doing his town building minigame.
Yeah, that's right. I love the fact that he spends like most of the movie just trying to play mayor.
Mhm.
When like everyone's out like plotting to get him again.
God, I thought they were trying to endear me to him. Like, oh no, he's trying to build a town. It's really nice. And he's like, I'm going to kill people. I need this much money now. It's like, well, okay, he's not great.
Yeah. I don't think he had like a very convincing sort of end goal or sort of overarching scheme or a plan or something. So I found that kind of weird about his character, you know.
Have you got a favourite scene or shot, Boaz?
So yeah, favorite scene. I'd say my favorite shot is the one where I was saying like they have a stare down through the window.
Yeah.
I just like that. I just thought that was great, where it just goes straight through the window and moseys on down the onto the ground to have a real close up of Nat. I thought that was really good. Rory,
What's your favourite scene or shot?
Like just like the one scene of like him just shooting that one guy with the dynamite. That's just, you know,
All right.
it was just so much immediately. But like something that didn't work for me. Like most of the movie is like well shot, you know, lovely to look at. But one thing that didn't work for me was like the fight scene with like the mayor of the town. It just felt like I didn't understand what was going on for me. I was like, oh, he's hitting him with the back of a gun.
He grabs somebody's gun and then clubs him. Yeah.
Yeah, it cut to him and then cut like to his face. And it's like, that's cool, but at the same time, it's like it's just cutting so quickly, can barely tell what's going on.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with that because I had to rewatch that scene like 3 fucking times. Like I rewound, just like what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I thought he stabbed him.
Well, Regina King slips him the gun, you know.
Yeah, I thought he got a knife, or I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I agree with you there.
I guess it was cut slightly too quickly. It didn't bother me too much, to be honest.
Yeah. What do you think about the fight scene between the 2 female leads, where they,
oh, that was awesome.
you know, basically did away with their bullets and had a fight in it looked like a
dyeing factory.
Yeah, a dyeing area. Yeah, like to dye cloth. So like, I like the setting of that because, you know, again, very colorful. You got your blues and reds and your pinks and your purples and stuff.
I kind of wish they incorporated more of the color, like on their clothes and stuff.
That would have been cool.
Because they don't really get dirty or anything.
I think it would have been cool if they were dunking each other in the fucking dye, just throwing each other in the dye. That would have been pretty cool.
Maybe they don't want them to look a bit too ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they still got to look cool when they're doing it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, because that also turned into a melee fight. I thought that was one of those ones where it felt like definitely, you know, like a movie fight, if that makes sense. Where like less like a Western. You're like, dude, you have guns. Like anybody in a Western would just shoot a guy in the fucking face, and that they literally unload all their bullets to have a melee fight. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but it's a mutual respect thing, you know.
Yeah, it's like they had some like personal beef.
Yeah, that's true. They really didn't like each other. Yeah, I suppose, you know. And also you get to, you know, do some like proper hand-to-hand choreography and stuff, you know.
I thought it was really brutal though, and probably like one of the best fights I've seen between 2 female characters, frankly, because you don't get that very often at all.
One of the things I really liked is that they were kicking the shit out of each other, like, you know, hitting each other and stabbing each other and all that shit. When the good one like fucking like thumps her head with the stock and just like thumping the shit out of her head and then lets out like a goddamn like animal cry. It's like, ah!
Animal scream. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, like a primal scream. I'm like, fucking, you know.
Yeah, from ZZ Beats.
Yeah, die, you know. I like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Sonny, you got a favorite scene or shot?
I really loved every time the young sharpshooter was just talking smack. It's like you just know, this guy's talking heaps.
Yeah.
You know he's gonna get his comeuppance at some point in the thing.
Yeah, I thought it was great, like how cocky he was even at the first time he shows up. Like his friend he's being shot at, the sniper, and he can't even move.
Pick it.
And then he just shows up in the middle of them all and is just like just talking smack. He's not even like trying to shoot them or whatever. He's just talking smack. And they're like, you know, fuck you and stuff like that. They're talking smack back at him and he just like bam, 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 kills them all. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. He's always got this cheeky look in his face. Like he's like, you know, like a teenager on a train who's looking to pick a fight. And you're just like, I don't want to get into this.
Yeah, I feel like the first time you see Jim, you're like, yeah, you're going to die in this film. I think.
He's going to die.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just
I was kind of hoping they didn't kill him. I was like, yeah, it'll be great if they tease him so much, like, yeah, he's a cocky guy's going to die. It's like, but then they don't kill him. I was like, yeah, he is just that good.
Yeah.
But no, he gets shot through the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would have been more unique.
Yeah, I saw a bit short for the mouth, and for a second I was like, "Did Mo survive? Maybe?" Oh, it's like, no, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead.
I think the only thing that kind of surprised me is I didn't suspect his killer to die by that, the other girl. I didn't expect that to happen.
Kofi.
I didn't expect Kofi to be the one to kill him. I think that was the only one.
They teased it a little with with they been like I'm the fastest person I've ever seen in in the mirror and all that stuff, and like I was like, oh, that's cute. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was true. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it does kind of draw back from that, I suppose.
The Pointless Spin-off podcast. What are you going for directing for The Heart of Evil?
It's his first time, but you've got to give it props to just how competently made and it really fit the style very well. So probably somewhere around about, I want to say 8 something, maybe.
Oh, thank God! I was going to say the same thing. I thought I was going to go too high.
Oh yeah, no. There's some things I would have tweaked here and there, but I'm just going to say solid 8 point.
Yeah, I mean, cut out a few of the minutes of people just slowly riding around on horses for a while.
Okay. Solid 8 or 8.9?
Yeah, I'll say a solid 8.
Yeah, solid 8.
Okay. Yeah. That's acceptable. Boaz, what should we go with?
What are you feeling?
We are not getting invited back.
No.
Are you thinking a high 8 or a low 9?
I really like this film from a directional point of view. It's just because I have a bias towards westerns and I fucking love them. Yeah. So, 8.9.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's fair enough.
Or is that too not high?
No.
For you?
Do 8.9.
I don't think it is of 9 quality.
Okay, how about 8.8 then? We'll give it that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree a little bit. You could have trimmed it a little bit, but yeah, I'm happy with 8.8. Yeah, right. Screenplay then, people. The film is a pretty standard revenge epic in its structure, but the film is littered with a few nice surprises that I didn't see coming. One detail I quite liked was when Regina King's character Trudy asked a soldier to open the cell door to let out Rufus Buck. Trudy reveals that Rufus Buck and his entire gang are to be pardoned if they kill all the soldiers on the train because they killed an entire town of women and children to steal silver. So that was quite a nice surprise in the film for me. And it shows that kind of no one in this film is to be trusted and no one's safe either. So that was quite a nice detail for me. Any details that you guys liked in the script?
As I was saying before, I love how a lot of the characterizations were just sort of people sort of building themselves up in a way, like the sharpshooter and him being cocky. And that scene where the guy was eating a steak and practicing what he'd say to Idris Elba,
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
You'd better get out of here before I finish my steak. Where it turns out there's no one in the room.
He was a bit of a coward.
Yeah. So I love that whole aspect of the movie. That's kind of the West is kind of as much sort of a fiction as it is a real point in time.
I always kind of prefer Westerns when they're more fictionalized than historically accurate.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about that opening titles before the film starts with the fact that your main character's all black guys and girls.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think it's definitely unique for a Western.
Yeah, it's I love a good bit of historical fan fiction almost, where you sort of go, all right, these people existed, but let's have some fun with what their lives could have been like.
I mean, yeah, that ending apparently was completely fictionalized. I had to Google it, be like, wait, were they? Were they
actually brothers?
Were they?
Turns out no, they would never even met each other. Apparently, it's oh wow, okay.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. That reminds me of a bunch of historical films that are just not true in the slightest. Gangs of New York. That's another interesting one. There was a Bill the Butcher, but all of that is just complete bullshit. That's not how he died. It wasn't by Leonardo DiCaprio. He didn't kill him.
What?
Yeah, that's not historical.
We talked about this a little bit, but I quite liked how the script plays on this whole stereotype storytelling of the fastest man in the West is the best gunfighter. And the character of Jim Buckworth, played by R.J. Seiler, is this really cocky gunslinger who practices his gun tricks and is told Cherokee Bill is the fastest gun around. So when they meet at Redwood, Jim wants to challenge Bill at the draw, but Bill's like, no, the best gunfighter is the one who's alive, not the quickest. Yeah. And basically says goodnight and goes off to have a drink. And then Jim is quite disappointed and says, hey, my drink, my ass, man. I practiced that standoff all night. It's funny and still pretty tense, but I love how the film plays with this very classic trope. Then later, Bill cheats against Jim by shooting him in the face on the count of 3 instead of 1. And then later he shoots Pickett in the back. Then when he faces the draw against Kofi, he loses. And it's like he's proving his own point that trying to be the fastest gun is going to get you killed, and he does die. And I get the sense that he was quite arrogant against Kofi because she was a girl too, So
yeah, I just find that interesting about the character of Bill, because he always seemed like quite humble and like very like always throwing out words of wisdom and shit. Even when he's on the train, like, we don't want violence, blah, blah, blah. But he's always, like, throwing out words of wisdom. He's being, like, super humble. He's not trying to big himself up. But he's an absolute piece of shit. At the end, he just cheats. He cheats. That's how he wins. He cheats, even though he's, like, pretending to be quite, an honest guy.
I just really like the arrogance of him, and he kind of gets beaten by his own arrogance, He's like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to do the draw thing with this girl. Oh, shit, I'm dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I just quite like how it plays on that gunslinging trope.
It's a small detail, but I love how they had, like, different types of hats.
Yeah.
Like Regina King had the bowler hat, Mary had the top hat, so obviously they're going to have to go at each other.
Oh, yeah.
No one with a bowler hat in a Western is ever a good person.
No one, never.
No good people with bowler hats.
Getting the representation right.
That's right.
I also found, one of the things I found kind of weird, I suppose this just goes into a stereotype of like most films, but there are many times where the heroes are so fucking stupid and they get captured, or like they get captured a lot.
You're talking about the Mary scene?
Man, Mary gets captured, fucking Nat gets captured, he gets the shit kicked out of him. They still have Mary towards the end. They could have killed her at any point, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so many people get captured, so much goes wrong throughout the entirety of the movie. They even have to do a bank heist because they're forced to, you know what I mean? And I don't even think that really helps them in the long run in the plot. They don't even need the money, and in fact, it's not even the right amount of money. I don't know why he didn't blow Mary's head off, like, straight in front of them.
Well, it's kind of, they use it as a double bluff kind of thing. They just blow it up to get rid of the rest of the town, so it's just them and the other gang.
Yeah, to like freak him out. Yeah, but I felt you had like a lot of bits where they got captured because they're idiots, and and I don't really understand why Idris Elba didn't just like cut them to pieces, but did like a sort of James Bond stuff of just putting them in like really horrible situations that they can escape. So that I thought was kind of weird and kind of Bond-esque rather than like something real.
Yeah. Idris Elba's like, I really want to be James Bond. Look what we're doing.
I really want to be a Bond villain. Yeah, yeah. Just tie him up and like box him in the fucking guts. Yeah, don't blow his head off or anything. Throw her in the streets and without water and stuff instead of like cutting her head off or something.
The whole Maryville scene was really interesting, where they very much emphasized that it's a white town, but quite literally a white town.
I thought that was funny.
Like, all the buildings are white, the insides are white, and even the dirt on the ground is somehow white. I mean, it definitely did not look like snow to me. It all looks very lavish.
They literally painted it white.
Yeah. And then when Kofi is wearing this fancy red dress and struggling to get her gun out and ask for a withdrawal, the bank lady just laughs at her, and it's obvious that all these white people are just looking down at Kofi and Nat. But when Kofi takes out a guy quite easily and Nat is telling another guy to breathe, basically because he's got a gun on him, they become in control of the situation very quickly and quite easily. and all this white design is all kind of surface without substance kind of thing. And it's like this one scene kind of highlights that black people did this as well in American history and were not to be messed with as well. Yes, it's very stylized, but I still quite enjoyed it for the point it was making.
Personally, I think beyond its style, I don't think it really contributes much to the film, but it was really nice.
Oh, right. Okay.
Stylized.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's got to touch on the racism aspect because, these films have to remind you that racism is a thing. I don't think the plot needs it, really. I don't think it needs to talk about racism. I mean, like, all the bad guys are black guys, all the good guys are black guys, all the love interests are black people. I don't know. I'm not sure. This isn't a slavery movie, so...
No, I mean, it does play on the humor side of things, which I thought was quite good, in my opinion.
I thought so. I thought it was pretty cool. And I did like the scene. It did feel like it was tangented a bit, but, it was all right.
What do you guys think, Sonny and Rory, about that scene? Was it too much? Was it too stylized for you, the fact that everything was white, or could you just leave without that scene?
It kind of felt like, well... You were joking earlier when we watched the movie that it kind of looked like a game had loaded without any textures on it. It's like where all the textures go.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, I think it sort of just felt like they were ticking boxes in the script and like, all right, we need a set piece where they rob a bank. How can we fit a bank robbery into the script? We'll just make Idris Elba make them rob a bank to pay him off.
Because he demands that they rob a bank to replace the money, and they go along with that. Yeah, and they actually rob a real bank, and I mean they do try to, as I said, like do the bank robbery as differently as possible, to make it all white. I think it was just a question of style. It was like, get them to rob a bank and get it to be all white, and just make it different from any other bank robbery.
I feel the scene's great. I feel like there's not really a lot of reason for that scene, or a lot of reason for a lot of the scenes. It feels like like the dialogue. Love it, great. Everyone's saying such wonderful things, but then it'll be like, all right, now we have to sit down and they have to explain why they need this money for this town, and then the townspeople are going to be like, okay, and then the townspeople are never going to appear again.
I think realistically, like if they had done the first assault on his, on his house correctly, this film would have just been like over. You wouldn't need anything if they didn't approach it so idiotically.
Mm-hmm.
Like the film would be finished. Like there's no reason for it to carry on past that scene.
I don't mind the fact that you got semi-stupid characters like Mary trying to, help Idris Elba out with offering her business or whatever. But it does build a bit of character.
I suppose. Yeah, and nobody's perfect, so I think that's what you're getting at. They're not a well-oiled machine yet.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I don't enjoy this film because of the script. I enjoy it because of its style, It's fucking cool.
Yeah, the style is incredible. Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
It's just a basic revenge movie, It's just the bare bones revenge story. Yeah, you have a few bit of twists in there, but yeah, it's all about the direction for me in this film. But there are some cool lines from Jim where he says, where they're talking about Cherokee Bill, and he says, "Cherokee Bill, you hear say, you don't see say, so I say, fuck Cherokee Bill."
Yeah, that was great.
There's a good one from Pickett where he says, where he walks in on Majors and Beats beginning to have sex, and he says, "Oh, y'all were making sex. I apologize."
Yeah, that was a good line. Yeah, I got to use that every time. Well, I say every time I bust in onto...
Every time you walk into someone.
Yeah. That sounds like it happens to me like every day. Every day I walk into a room and some people are shagging. I've got no idea what to say. Thank God this movie exists.
It's fine. Like you said, you guys record in different studios now.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons as well.
Yeah, I mean, Sonny, you've said it like twice already, but yeah, just like the steak scene was good.
Yeah, the whole steak monologue, that was like probably like the best bit of dialogue.
I was convinced he was talking to Idris Elba in that moment.
Yeah, so was I.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, and I do like that where it turns out he's not, and the guy comes in and he's like, "Rufus wants to talk to you out front," and he's like, "Tell him I'm not going to see him. I'm not talking to him." It's like he wasn't asking, and you're like, "Oh shit!" Like he's fucking pissed scared of him. I do like that. I thought that was a really good build-up.
It's like, oh shit, better compose myself.
I loved the scene. It made me really like. I was like charmed by him, but I was also like, this guy sucks. Where like he like grabs the orange like apple, takes a bite, and then throws the apple back on the car, and then just grabs an orange, I guess, and just peels it and throws like each peel away for like a full minute straight.
Yeah.
When Idris Elba was just like walking down the street.
Oh, doesn't he do like a pretend magic trick to some kid? That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, the trick is so great.
It's like, oh, still there.
yeah. That was funny. I like that.
But I mean, that's just food abuse, though. I mean, they should have a compost bin somewhere. I mean, that's just littering.
It shows he's truly evil. He's the worst villain in the West.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's why he's raising money for the town. Yeah, they need to really get
They need a compost bin, you know?
Put it together. Yeah. They can't just do this overnight, people.
Oh,
you know, it's a hot town. They need proper compost, you know, to grow their own food.
That's it, yeah. Speaking of fruit, I love the scene where Trudy's explaining her backstory as she's peeling the apple. Kind of seems like she's practiced timing the apple peeling to like to finishing her story about the sister.
I like the acting in that.
I was worried for a second because like she was peeling the apple for so long. I was afraid it was going to like pan down and she was going to like cutting into her hand or something. That's like an intimidation tactic. It's like, oh fuck, she does this to get people. Yeah,
that would have shown she was truly crazy, you know.
Yeah. But no, she just peeled a whole apple and then I guess didn't really eat it or nothing. Just peeled an apple for no reason.
I quite like that scene. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I like the whole explaining a backstory about her sister, and and Regina King was pretty damn scary.
Rory, you got one?
Oh, it was a good moment on the train, but like the guy stands up with a gun and he's like, here's the hero. There's always one. There's always a hero. All right, Mr. Hero, let's go. Yeah. And then it does like the fucking almost like fucking, you know, superhero style cutting through the legs. Like, all right.
Yeah.
You're too quick of a draw, man.
Mine is when Cherokee Bill is like talking to the soldier on the other side of the door on the train, and Trudy shoots someone, and he's like, God damn, Trudy, you know how I like my countdowns. My apologies, sir. My friend here doesn't like other arithmetic. But that being said, 7 seconds.
I like when Nat is talking to that sheriff, and he was like, you know, like there was a bank robbery, and he was like, I was in Texas. He goes, you don't even know, you know, when I was saying the bank robbery was. And he goes,
that's it, yeah.
Whenever any bank robbery took place, I was in Texas. Unless, of course, the bank robbery took place in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
Actually, you know what? I love the fact that, speaking of lines, I love the fact that he made a big deal about Nat having the Buck surname at the end. Because the fact that he had a different surname was like never like a big thing up until that very end. And Idris Elba was like, you're a Buck. You're a Nat Buck. And then he's like, no, I'm Nat Love. I'm not you. Yeah.
I remember you bringing up about how like it'll be better in the movie if he ever mentioned his father at any other point, because his father just kind of dies in the beginning, and then like from then on, it's like not once he's like, my dad was a good man, or I want to be like my dad. It's just like,
yeah, that's true.
Remember your dad? Like, oh. Right, from the beginning of the movie. Him. Oh, same dad. Crazy.
Yeah, the guy I'm doing the revenge mission for. Yeah. I almost forgot why I was going to kill this son of a bitch. That was it.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of like, you know, the whole you're going to be just like me twists, you know, that villains do. I think it's become like a massive cliche now. Especially like what he's doing is nowhere near as bad as what, you know, Rufus did to him. It's not even in the same fucking ballpark. Like, you shot and killed my dad. You know, you're saying my you know, our dad abused you. That's not what the fuck I'm doing. You shot and killed my dad and my mum. Like, why the fuck did you shoot my mum?
Yeah.
And you cut my head.
And then carved a crucifix in his head.
Yeah. You're saying that I'm going around shooting your gang of murderers is the same? Are you out of your mind? I don't like it. Too many films are doing that, where they have the villain say to the hero, "Oh, you're just like me." It's like, no, I'm not. You fucking idiot. You know,
you're just like me, Batman.
No, it'd be worse because I would never kill my own brother. It's like, all right, sure.
Yeah, but you'd kill your own father, and you'd kill your own. You know, you'd kill like fucking millions of other people.
Screenplay score. The pointless spin-off? What are you going for?
I mean, we can do it separately if you want. I'm going to go for like a straight 6, honestly. Like, the dialogue is great, but like, I feel like the plot is just to me, you know?
Pretty standard revenge, I guess.
You
Gonna
know,
push it to like a 6.3, maybe.
I think it's a standard revenge plot with like a twist that I think you're right kind of makes less sense the more you think about it.
Yeah.
But I do like the dialogue. I think that is a saving grace for it. So
yeah.
That's
so
true.
you got to find a way to sort of balance that out. Which do you hate more
That's true.
or love the most?
I think I'd probably bump it to like 6.3, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go 6.3. Yeah.
But what should we go for?
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I get what you guys are saying. Some of it doesn't make a lot of sense with like character motivations, but I personally can give that stuff a pass because you don't want like perfect characters in like storytelling and like this.
Plus, as I said, I think you do have to give it some bumps up because the dialogue is really good. So, yeah, how about in the sevens? How about 7.5?
7.7?
7.6?
7.7?
7.6?
7.7.
7.6.
All right, fine. 7.6.
There we go.
Let's just call it 7.6.5.
I would personally go high sevens, but I think just revenge stories in general are just really fun to watch anyway. Right, acting then. I enjoyed the first meeting between Jonathan Majors' character, Nat Love, and ZZ Beats' character, Mary, where Nat enters Mary's bar and she's performing on stage and acting real cool.
I thought that was cool. I liked her song as well. I thought that was pretty awesome.
She notices Nat and he's loving seeing her and acting really cool, loving the music. Then Mary doesn't take her eyes off Nat and is like, hang on, why are you in my bar? And performs the song just a little bit more aggressively. Then when she walks off stage and talks to Nat, kisses him first, then punches him. And I love Major's performance because he's like, I'm cool, I got it. Smokes his cigar, then he falls. And he's like, no, I haven't got it. His legs give way on him and falls to the ground. But he's still acting cool and like smokes his cigarette. Both actors in that are really charismatic. I quite enjoyed that scene between those two.
Yeah, I love that they cast Jonathan Majors as Nat because I've seen him in like a couple of other things, and every time there's a scene where Jonathan knows he's about to, or at least is coming close to hooking up with someone, he just has this like cheeky, like grin, like smirk on his face. He's like,
you're like, I know it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Do you guys watch Lovecraft Country? Do you have that over there?
Yeah,
that I thought he was awesome.
I watched that.
He's really good in that. Kind of like a very supernatural story set in the 50s. It's really great. Annoyingly, they cancelled it now, which is just an absolute travesty. But
yeah, it was like such a banger of a show. And also, he's very good at like seeming weak and like sort of vulnerable at the same time. Like that scene where they find out Rufus Buck is being released, and he's just sort of like, the next shot is just him sitting at the table, all like concerned.
Really, wet eye, like he's about to cry.
It's like he's been crying for like the past hour.
Yeah.
But he's very good at like being like the cool guy and also kind of like vulnerable at the same time.
Yeah, I think he can do a good job of like switching it as well. He can seem like, oh man, I'm cool, fun, go lucky, and then you get terrible news and you're like, oh fuck, and then can switch that pretty quickly.
He's got a really good singing voice as well. There's a few singing moments from him.
Yeah.
That's right. There's a bit. Do you remember where they all burst into song? I actually kind of like that because I thought that was kind of cool because one of them just starts jazzing out a little song and they're all familiar with it and they all just go around. And then I like how it comes to the end of the song, which is about the theme revenge and stuff. And it's like he's just like looking way beyond, and he says it with like the last line with such intensity in the song. I quite like that. I thought that was a really cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was a really cool, just impromptu singing moment.
I love the fact that the old mayor guy he brought the guns over, and then they all start bursting out into song, and it cuts to the other dude, and he's just like, "What the hell's?"
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, you motherfuckers always do this,
I really like the acting from Regina King and ZZ Beats when Stagecoach Mary is tied up and Trudy is telling like the tragic tale about her sister and that she took revenge by slitting this girl Hope's throat and her dad sent her away. You know, Regina King is amazing while telling it. Like, there's a slight glimpse of emotion while she's telling the story. Just real subtle stuff while she's cutting the apple, but still remaining very intimidating. And like Zazie Beetz is really good too, I think, trying to keep it like a straight face. But there's hints in her performance that she feels sorry for her sister as well. So there's a cool, like, and there's also like a cool moment where King just wipes the knife clean on her shirt. You know, that was proper cool, actually. It's really intimidating.
Yeah, she's got like the craziest face for villains.
Yeah, she does, yeah. Like, she could just like fucking strangle you at any moment.
I would love to see a sequel, because obviously the final shot is of Regina King with her hat. I'd hope we get a sequel.
Yeah. I thought that was a statue with just her hat on it. But
yeah, do you know, actually, I'm glad you fucking said that, Regina King in a hat, because I didn't get the ending.
Yeah, because you see, it's the bowler hat, isn't it? So.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was her same clothing. Man, I didn't get that at all. I was
Really?
like, who the fuck is this? Setting up a different villain.
Well, it's just so weird that they'd bring her back.
Yeah. I thought they were bringing out a different villain. I was like, oh, maybe it's his other brother.
It's just weird, the idea of, like, you know, an Avengers-style sting at the end being like, yeah, here, wait a minute, she's back now. Someone, I mentioned this to Sonny, the guy who plays Cherokee Bill, like how he's in, like, Get Out and, like, Sorry to Bother You and all that stuff.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah, he's great at, like, sniff acting.
Okay.
He'll say something and then, you know, like, say, like, and it's like, oh, man, you feel so much emotion coming from it. And, you know, it's like, uh-oh, this guy, he's mumbling all the time, but, like, you know, I was like, uh-oh, shit, what's going on here?
I do feel like he is the essence of cool, though.
He is pretty cool.
He is, yeah.
Just so relaxed, but just obviously his character's so arrogant as well. Just oozes cool.
Yeah. But I do feel like he comes across as if, like, he feels like he's the wisest person in the room, and he's just like, you idiots, you're so foolish, you fools, sort of thing. But like in a sort of condescending, like he's a sort of, you know, ancient philosopher, and these guys are like fucking stupid or something. He kind of portrays that really well, yeah.
Yeah, surprisingly, the real Cherokee Bill is actually part Cherokee. But I'd like to think Lakeith's character just, you know, he just got like a DNA test back, and it was like, oh, you're 32% Cherokee. And he's like, wow.
Yeah, or 0.001% Cherokee. And he's like, awesome.
It's fine. You can play him.
Yeah. I need a read up on Cherokee wisdom.
Yeah, he even talks about the Great Spirit. I remember that. He was like, Great Spirit.
Yeah.
These people. And you're like, oh,
That's
shit.
right.
Oh yeah, when he kills Pickering and like starts speaking Cherokee to him, and it's like I don't think he understands anything he's saying, dude.
I would actually like to see a Cherokee person's reaction. If you know, I like seeing that with. Have you seen like reaction videos with, you know, say a Russian reacts to Russian from other films, or Frenchman reacts to French, and I like how they go, man, this actor, what the fuck is he saying? You know. And I like that sort of perspective in movies.
What did we make of like the acting from Idris Elba and like Jonathan Majors in that last scene? I thought they were pretty. Yes, the twist is kind of a bit jarring, but the acting is really good.
If you put aside the twist, the actual acting is pretty good,
especially from Jonathan Majors when the shot is on his face for quite a while as Idris Elba is explaining the truth, and you can really see his face change. He's really, really good actor.
Yeah, it's very distraught, you know, and I think he acts that really well. Yeah. If you just put aside the actual twist itself, like his reaction to the twist is pretty damn good.
And it's just interesting as well with the fact with the acting, how like nonchalantly he kind of kills him, because like Idris Elba is just walking towards him like, yes, I'm your half brother, and he's like, no, you're not. What are you doing, you lion? And it's just like, die. I don't want to kill you. I do want to kill you. You know, it's not very Hollywood at all, you know.
Yeah, so I understand the logic of like downplaying his death. I think I didn't feel that satisfied that he was killed. It almost felt like he was killed in an accident. Like it was accidentally. It probably was, but it feels like he should have died in like a much more spectacular fashion. But I do understand, you know, where that was coming from. Just downplay his death.
Yeah, I think it was more like he just couldn't deal with the trauma and the emotion of having to deal with Idris Elba anymore. So he was just like, I'm just going to shoot him.
Yeah, I think it's meant to be like thematically resonant. Like it's an unsatisfying death because like it's not meant to be satisfying. So he doesn't feel great doing it.
I kind of love how he just like unloads his gun on the when he's on the floor, Idris Elba, and even when there's no bullets left, he's still pulling the trigger and still gonna pull. And when you think he's gonna stop, he keeps going. I really like the emotion, pouring out from Jonathan Majors there.
I do like when he goes out and hugs Stagecoach, and she's like, so is the devil dead? And he's like, I don't know. And it's very clearly the Marshal established earlier on, he's not the devil. The devil's a white man. And people just keep being like, there's the devil. And it's like, come on. Don't make him repeat himself.
Exactly. You're clearly the devil, man. You're very clearly the devil.
It's you.
No.
yeah. And Martin. It's half of this cast here. Is the devil.
I actually loved Delroy Lindo in this film as the Marshal, I think.
The Marshal.
Yeah. And there's a scene in the final fight where it's not stylized at all. It's just pointing and shooting. Yep, you're dead. You're dead. You're dead. I found that quite
pretty
funny.
much.
Yeah. I think he also the kind of badass sort of fucking action hero thing of not giving a shit that bullets are flying past him. It's like, I'm not gonna duck.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
There's no expression in his face. Yeah. Bang, bang, bang.
all the other heroes are ducking and running, and he's just like, yeah, fuck off. Dude.
Yeah, I was saying to Rory, it gets serious when the cool sharpshooter guy starts ducking behind. Because that's when the emotional stakes are hard.
Even then, he gets shot in the shoulder, pulls him to the side, and then he's still standing up, and the guy's like, get down.
Yeah.
Favorite performance, Sonny? Who are you going for?
I'm gonna go with RJ as Jim. I thought every time he was on screen, I was just like, oh, this guy. Yeah, I was just asking for it. Chewing on his little toothpick, cheeky grin on his face. Idris was pretty good as well. Like I was saying, if you go back and see, because at the end of the film, at the showdown, it sort of seems like, all right, he's ready for death. He's tired of living. He wants this vendetta over. So it's sort of interesting to go back and see moments in the film where you can sort of see that he's tired of this life in a way.
He's in pain, he's kind of suffering.
Yeah, he's in pain.
Yeah, he's had enough of it. Yeah.
His performance is very internal, It's he's excellent, I think. Rory, who's your favorite performance?
Cherokee Bill, yeah.
Awesome.
He's just oozes cool.
Boaz?
I think I'll go Cherokee Bill.
Lakeith Stanfield? I'm going to go with Jonathan Majors. I think the guy is so charismatic, just an incredibly good actor. Yeah, I think he carries this film really well as the leader of the Nat Love gang. Acting score, pointless spin-off. What are you going for?
Acting was probably the highlight of the film.
Yeah.
I'll say an 8.5, almost a 9 maybe.
9, yeah.
I'd say high 8.
Yeah.
High. He's real pushing us towards 9.
9, sure, 9.5. Sure.
Yeah.
10, go wild.
Yeah, go 11. Why not?
Yeah, there's Spinal Tap this year. Yeah.
About 8.8.
Yeah, 8.8.
8.8, yeah.
Cool. We need to do Spinal Tap on this podcast and literally put every score as 11 out of 10.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well, as what should we go for? I think it's really good, I'm willing to match them up, actually. 8.8, I think it's pretty spot on, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. Right, let's add up the scores then for The Harder They Fall.
It's going to be hard to beat Hobson Shaw.
It's The Harder They Fall. Hobson Shaw. It's harder to watch.
The Hobbs They Shaw, yeah.
The Hobbs They Shaw.
The Harder They Fall gets 48.3.
Hey, well done.
So we actually win an episode for once, Boaz. We were on a losing streak for a while.
Oh, man. I'm glad we could do this for you.
Thank you guys for giving us a win.
No worries.
We got absolutely trounced last time. So next episode arriving on Amazon Video, Prime Video, I think it's called now. The Samaritan is out. And that, of course, stars the legend that is Sylvester Stallone. So we'll be doing Sylvester Stallone films.
It's either going to be one of the Rockies or one of the Rambos, right? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, let's be honest. That or like
be.
Spy Kids 3.
You know, you might go with a new Rocky. I think it's Rocky 4 re-release that Stallone did, where he actually recut the movie to make it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a director's cut.
Yeah, to remove the robot, wasn't it? Or something?
It was to remove the robot and like change a few of the scenes to make it like better. I mean, the main thing is they removed the robot, which is, you know,
yeah,
kind of a detriment to a lot of movies, but you know.
So hopefully we'll have guests for that one from the Choose Film podcast. Pointless Spin-off podcast. Sonny and Rory, you have been amazing. Thanks for coming on. You've been awesome.
No worries.
This is just your opportunity again to tell people about your podcast and where we can find you.
Well, you can find Rory. You have a Twitch stream.
Yeah, I stream on Twitch. I don't have a regular stream schedule or nothing, but yeah, you know, I stream at Beyond Rory. Beyond Rory. You know, spell how it sounds probably.
Cool.
And you can catch us, Pointless Spin-Off, on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, you know, all the good podcast platforms. And, you know, if you like people making up stupid movies on the spot where the heroes die
a lot.
in embarrassing fashions, then yeah,
awesome.
Choose Pointless Spin-Off.
Any die of dysentery? That'd be kind of funny. Just, you know, hero shits himself to death. That's it.
Maybe. I think the next Western we do, because we never knew what movie we're doing.
Okay.
It's always random. But I guess the next Western, we should just have them just flat out.
Yeah, I think last episode, the random movie generator picked out Lady Gaga's like movie or something. So yeah, maybe Dysentery there. I don't know.
Our next episode is a spin-off of a Lady Gaga documentary. Yeah, maybe. She's always got. Maybe someone they ate the meat dress.
Oh yeah, that would be it. That would be it.
We've done it. That's our next episode.
That would be funny.
Awesome.
They ate the meat dress, and someone, she gets sued.
Preview right here.
Just shit out their guts, you know.
That's it, yeah.
Thanks, guys. It's been amazing having you on. Bye-bye from Rory.
Bye.
Bye-bye from Sonny.
It's our pleasure. See ya.
And it's bye-bye from these zombie western Boaz sticks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's it for part 2. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. Check out part 1 if you haven't done so already. But don't stop there. Get involved and tell us what your favourite films are relating to the episodes. Send us a DM or comment on Instagram and TikTok at Film vs. Film Podcast, for Twitter at FVF_podcast. If you do, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode. If you're feeling really generous, you can buy us a one-off coffee at our Buy Me a Coffee account. Remember, please leave us a 5-star review and subscribe. Pod signing off.